Okay, hey everybody. So today I'm going to show you guys how to do the retouch of the three little kids sitting on the step. And so the first thing you want to do is go to Google Masco Photo. That'll bring you to my website, Masconomic Digital Photography. Click on Digital Photo, go to Minor Projects, and the first picture that comes up is this picture that you can see has been fairly extensively damaged. So I'm going to save it, and you need to save it a particular way to keep the resolution. So you're going to click on the picture to isolate it, and then I want you to hit Control and mouse click if you're on a Mac, and a right click if you're on a PC. And that'll bring up a little dialog box, and you can click on Save Image As. It's important when you save it that it has the extension or after the underscore ORIG. It's going to go into downloads, it's a JPEG, and I click on save. And then it saves it, as you can see by the bottom, into my downloads. Then I'm going to go to my downloads and take that picture, and we're just going to put it on my desktop for now. Okay. All right, then I'm going to go to the PIXLR photo editor, and I'm going to click on Open Image, and it's going to bring me to my desktop. And that's interesting. There it is, and we click Open. Okay. So now I have it opened on the desktop, and you'll notice that there's a piece that's missing here. There's a rip here. There is a corner that's actually been taken out completely. Someone wrote on this with a ballpoint pen. And I should mention this is just the first part, so I'm not going to go through every single part of it right now. We're just going to concentrate on a couple of the major things that you're going to want to know. Okay, so in order to be able to work in this interface, one of the things I like to do is to use the magnifying tool to zoom in. And by zooming in, I can sort of concentrate on one area at a time. There is also a hand tool that, when I'm zoomed in, allows me to navigate around the document. Now, there are shortcuts for almost all of the tools. There are shortcuts, and you can see right here it says keyboard. They actually misspelled keyboard. Keyboard shortcut on the bottom, spacebar. Okay, so that means if I'm on any other tool, like for instance the move tool up top, and I hit the spacebar, it will turn it into the hand tool. Okay, so I'm going to again zoom in a little bit more on this. And the first thing we're going to do is, see, now that's one of those weird things with Pixlr that I don't understand why they do that, but okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is show you the clone stamp. Okay, so notice it looks like a little rubber. Photoshop doesn't do that. Don't know why Pixlr does. Wish they would figure out a way to make it stop. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is make sure that source is clicked. Okay, I may have to edit this part out because this is just annoying. I don't know if I need to go to here, come back. Okay, make sure source is clicked. Then I'm going to come down to here, and I'm going to click, notice right on this little windowsill, right on the bottom ledge, just underneath it, right there. Okay, that just defined the source. That means wherever I now paint, it's going to take from where that little bullseye is up top, the black one, and put it down to the little white circle with the plus sign. And it follows wherever I go, it's going to follow me. Okay, that's not what I want to do, so I'm going to undo that by clicking undo, or I could do Control Z. What I do want to do is click source, click right here, and then paint automatically pops up. And I'm going to paint it here. And notice all of that broken stuff kind of goes away. Then I go back again and I click source. Now, instead of clicking source, I could just alternate clicking the shift button. The shift button alternates between paint and source. Now there's a broken part of the picture here. I'm going to click on this pot that's next to it and assume that maybe this pot kind of looks like that pot. And I do the same thing. And then to make it look a little bit different, maybe I'll take some of the, oops. So I'm going to click Command Z to undo. I'm going to hit Shift to collect a little bit of here, and then put a little bit of that down there, so it makes the flower look a little bit different. And probably do the same thing. Maybe I'll take a piece from here, hit Shift, and notice when I hit Shift, it turns into that little plus sign. And I do a mouse click that records that you want to define. You want to take it from here and put it there. Okay, not too bad. All right, we're going to try to zoom in again. And notice on this side, I'm going to hit the space bar. Notice on this side there is a number 5 written in ballpoint pen. So you see this repeating pattern in this lattice work here? That's going to help us to fix this really, really simply. So I'm going to click on the clone stamp again. And also notice that whenever I click on any of the tools in the toolbox, there are options for that tool here. For instance, I could change the size of the brush if I wanted to, make it bigger or smaller. The hardness of the brush or the softness of the brush, which makes softness versus hardness. I like to keep it, around 25%. As well as many other different types of brushes and options and whatnot. But we're going to keep it like this for now. So what I want to do is I want to bring it to, you have this line here, that's the same as this line here, that's the same as this line here. I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to click here. And now I know that that's my source. Where am I going to put my source? I'm going to put my source right here and trace over this. And notice when I do that, that 5 disappears. Why? Because it's taking what's here and placing it over here. And I can do the same thing with a lot of the parts of this picture, with the exception of this, which looks like it might have been torn. It might have been in a frame at one point and either got like something spilled on it, and usually old photographs, when they get wet, will stick to glass and then they'll tear. And probably what might have happened here. The same clone stamp can be applied here to here. What you can't do is this. Okay, so this piece has actually fallen off. It's broken off. And so in order to fix that, I'm going to go and do something called making a selection. So this is called the lasso selection tool, and there are 4 options. There's a free selection, which means I just select like that and it becomes a selection. If I take the move tool, I can move the selection around. If I want to adjust it, I can change the brightness and contrast. I can make what's selected brighter or darker. All of those things. When I want to deselect, I can either click on deselect or hit Control D. So I'll hit Control D. All right, I want to select this, but I want to select it using one of the options for the lasso tool, which is called the magnetic lasso. So to do that, I click on one part and kind of drag. And what happens is the magnetic lasso tool, it's very smart. It knows where the edge, I went over a little bit, we're going to fix that. It knows where the edge of the value meets the background. So it senses, oh, okay, well, this is different than the background. So I don't have to be super accurate. The selection just kind of sticks to it. And so I'm going to go all the way around to the end. And when I get to the end, I'm just going to do a double click. Now this is selected. Now I made a little bit of a mistake here. One of the things I can do is if I click now, it'll make another selection, a new one, and erase the old one. I can add to the selection, and I can also remove from the selection. So I'm going to click on remove from select. Actually, no, I'm sorry, add to the selection. Piece back up. And it added that back in. Okay, and I can also remove things from the selection. Okay, so now I'm going to take the move tool. I'm going to bring it over to this corner, and I'm going to physically just drag this thing right up to here. But I notice, uh-oh, it's rotated a little bit in the wrong way. So what do? I go back, and I click on the transform button. transform puts a little box around it, and I can do anything. I can make the picture bigger or smaller, that image. I can move it around. I can also, if I bring it to the corner, you see that little curved shape arrow, I can also tilt it. So I'm going to tilt it and then move it in a little bit and say, where does it fit the closest on both sides? And I think it's probably about there. So I'm going to keep it there, and I'm going to hit the return key. So now I have this planted sort of here. We'll deal with this background later. But to fix this stuff, I'm going to zoom in again. Hopefully it'll keep it zoomed this time. Hit the space bar and move this so it's a little bit bigger. Then I'm going to take the clone stamp again. And notice that some of these squares, like the majority of them, are perfect. The ones where the space in between, where I just joined those two, are not. So all I'm going to do is making sure that source is clicked. I'm going to click in the middle of this box. I notice my brush is very big. So if I did that, it would be a little bit too much. So I'm going to make the brush, we'll make it about 31. Brush is much smaller now. And so I'm going to click the source again, make sure I click in here, bring it to here, and notice it's taking what's in the bullseye and putting it where the white brush with the plus sign is. And it's going to fix most of that line right there. It can even bring it all the way back here. And I fixed that joint right there. Using the same technique, I'm going to hold Shift this time to change it to source. I'm going to pick this right here, right on the ledge. I'm going to bring it to here. Bring it to here. And then even bring it up over here. Get rid of almost all of that junk. And it even puts the ledge of the porch, the floor. Okay, and then I can deal with this in a similar way, but that's the basis, the majority of the clone stamp work and using the lasso tool. So to reiterate, we used the clone stamp, we used the magnetic lasso, we used the move tool, and then we used the, when we were using the lasso tool and making selections, we also learned how to add to a selection, subtract from a selection, and how to make a new selection. Okay, so that's about all for this one. There will be a part 2 on this, where we're going to deal with how to fix this missing part here, how to fix this, which is difficult because we don't have a repeating pattern to, to clone stamp this to. You can't just take this arm and put it on top of that arm, or clone stamp it onto that arm because it's at the wrong angle. So we'll deal with that part later. And finally, as always, I want to do a file. I'm going to do a save so I don't lose my work. I'm going to change the name of this now. I'll just call it 3 Kids. And I'm going to make it a JPEG just because I prefer JPEGs. They're a universal files extension. Going to keep the quality on high, and then I'm going to click download, and what it's going to do, your image was saved to the default download folder, which is my downloads in this image. And that's it. So click on fit. You can see that this half right here, this half, the flower pot, most of that has been restored pretty closely to what the original looked like. So, okay, that's it for now. I'll talk to you guys later. Have a great day.